Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller and I am joined by my best good buddy who just changes his backdrop every week, Mr. John Bunn. John, how are you doing?
Good. I could even see like a shadow from my wife walking in and out the door. Nick, I am in my neighbor's office and, it's gotten darker since the first of the podcast because the sun is changing. But here I am because we don't let anything get in our way. I'm in the middle of some renovations in my house, as I mentioned. I've mentioned a lot, but doing those renovations, I'm over at my neighbor's house, and that doesn't matter because what does matter is that we have some incredible guests on today, Michele and Osiris from Modern Love Productions out of Miami. They are doing like edgy yet luxurious work. It's so cool to watch them. They were in our mastermind group. They, over the last couple of years, have gone from charging $2,000 or $3,000 to just booking their first $10,000 wedding, all while leaning into their personalities and what they love. But before we jump into the episode, Nick, I think I've done this a couple times in a row. I've forgotten just to ask, how in the heck are you doing? What is good with you? Are you wearing pants today? Tell me everything.
Yes. Good. Let's get started. No. Why use many word when short word would do? No, I'm doing really well, really good. Excited about the next few weeks for How to Film Weddings and the stuff we have coming up. We're relaunching Mastermind for the 2023 class here very, very shortly. Excited about that. But John, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode of the podcast.
Welcome Osiris and Michele from Modern Love Productions to the How to Film Weddings podcast. You are here. Why don't you say hello, introduce yourself, let us know who the heck you are, where you like to film weddings, all that good stuff. Who are you? Tell us all the things.
Hey. Well, we're two married lady videographers based out of Miami. We're called Modern Love Productions. We mostly film in Miami and in New York. We love what we do, and we're so excited to chat with you today.
Yeah. And that's Osiris and Michele.
Yes, we've got Osiris and Michele. So Modern Love Productions, Nick and I have been big fans of yours. So you were in our mastermind group in the original last year, the OG group. And that's kind of when I was introduced to you all in your work and like started watching, and we do, like mentor sessions or the group sessions or like watching your films. And I was just like, Nick. And Nick kept saying, these two ladies are really good. Like their films are awesome. And I was like, yeah, they really are. And last year at the very end of the mastermind group, we had a retreat. We do these awards and we were like handing out awards, and we gave you guys like the Rising Star Award because you grew so much during the year.
We'll have that in our office.
Yeah, you do. And
we were blown away.
You guys are just you're doing a lot and have grown a luxury yet edgy, modern love kind of business. And it's just been fun to watch. So why don't you kind of explain a little bit of how you all got started, like into weddings, how you all got to like, give us the story.
Okay, so we got started thanks to my beautiful wife, Michele. We both had prior careers in nonprofit, and she was really disgruntled at her job supervising like 10 people. And so she was like, I want to use my degree in, was it broadcasting?
Yeah.
Or TV production at Florida State. So then we decided, okay, let's get into the videography business. At first we were like, let's do quinces or sweet 16s. We didn't know. And then she talked to her friend who she grew up with, and he's been doing wedding videography maybe longer than you guys. And so he told Michele, you should go into the wedding world. It's really great. And he sort of was the one that told us, here's what cameras to get, here's what to do. And she was able to shadow him. Mm-hmm. And then we just went from there. We went full time February 2020, right before the pandemic.
Perfect.
Great time. Great timing.
Perfect.
We were like, we got this. We have so many bookings. Like bank accounts looking good. And then you know what happened. Mm-hmm. But we made it. Mm-hmm. We survived. And now we're at a point where we can work in Miami, work in New York, have great relationships, and are trying to kind of create a space in the market where we can do these beautiful weddings and still stay true to ourselves.
Yeah. Good job. I love that. And so you weathered the storm of the pandemic. Tell us a little bit just about like what each of you do for the brand, and then kind of how you've, maybe it wasn't always that way. Maybe one of you did one thing. Like I know that like, I think it's Michele does all the coloring, or like maybe it was, I can't remember who does what, but like give us a little bit of the rundown of who does what for the brand and like what you all both bring to the table.
So I started being the one with more production experience, so I'm still like the lead videographer, and then Osiris, our lead editor as well. I like to say Osiris is more of like the producer. She has like a lot of ideas, a lot of vision, but she has like the business brains as well. So she does like a lot of like thinking about our strategy and our networking and like keeping up with our social media and stuff like that. So we're both like involved with everything, but that's kind of like how we've, grown into like our roles.
I do our coloring, and most of the things you see on Instagram are edited by me.
Okay. Yeah, she does the teasers.
Okay, cool. And just to kind of follow up through, so when you first got going, it's like, okay, here's, this career, we were going full time, there's a pandemic. What did it look like? Because I feel like you've evolved a little bit over the past few years of like really turning up the heat on like, oh my goodness, we're in with this planner and we're going to go to New York, and we're like, we do Miami and New York now. And every time I see a post, it's like, wow, there's a fire breather at this wedding. And there's like all these like really luxurious things. So maybe give us a little bit of the story of what you were offering and charging at the beginning, and then kind of what it's progressed to.
I think, I guess I like to give like a really like big picture view of like how we got to be where we are. We'd say is like we focused on a few key things. And one of the first things that happened when we started was that Michele worked at a show like where it was like a puppet show, like a puppet TV show. And she told the guy, I'm going to start doing weddings. And he told her, you need to look up Ray Roman. And so,
yeah, he was like, he's the best wedding filmmaker. You got to look at him. This is the gear he uses and everything. So I went on YouTube, looked at it, and I'm like, okay, this is like, you really have to bring it. Like, this is serious stuff.
And from that moment, I think even like our second wedding in, we've been like, we have to do education. We have to like learn from people who have gone before us, which is how like we found out about you all. And since that, we've said, okay, the pillars for us is really quality. Let's improve constantly. Networking, who do we know, being part of the community, really saying yes to opportunities, and really like making the most out of any opportunity that you have. When we started, how much were we charged? I don't even know, like $500?
Our first wedding was technically supposed to be $800, and then like a week before the wedding, she was like, "Can I get a discount?" So we're like, "Yeah, of course. We need to do your wedding anyway. We need a portfolio, so it doesn't matter." But yeah, I think, early 2020, it was probably like, and
maybe 3,500
to 4 or something.
I don't know. And then next year, we finally broke 10,000 for the first time.
Yes, awesome. That's so good to hear.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's been a long journey. I would really say the education, I really can't like underestimate it. Really like hearing Larev say the power of networking. And then, for us, that fire breather wedding, we did a wedding of 2 gentlemen. There was a horse, a fire breather, flamenco dancer. And when we got that wedding, we were like, okay, this is something that can really help us out. So how can we maximize this? We brought her friend, the one that introduced us to.
Right. That was the first time we brought him out, actually. And since then, we've incorporated him into more of our luxury weddings, as we, have a team of 3 generally for those. So we knew we just needed to nail it. So we brought him, and we had I think we did a pretty good job capturing everything. And then we're like, okay, how can we leverage this awesome wedding, what we have? So we got it on Love Story TV. It kind of took legs from there. They really liked it. They actually nominated it for best fashion category, which was pretty cool. And it's actually, that wedding is going to be featured in one of their shows that's out right now, actually, called Wedding Talk. So it's just been pretty cool, seeing any kind of opportunity and just being let me do whatever I can to nail it, and then use it as a catalyst to keep seeing what all you can do with it.
And so, I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think a big thing for us was making friends in the industry, not just videographers. I am really friendly with our copywriter, and also a woman who does a Latinx focus bridal magazine. And they told me about a program that the Knot was having. It's a fellowship program. And it's meant to take people into the next level in their career. And so I was able to apply for that. I wouldn't have known otherwise. And then I got in. And through that, there was a whole community of education. We were able to film the Knot's educational programs. We filmed their party, met a lot of different planners there. That led us to film a planner's dinner in Massachusetts, where we're seeing the same people over and over. And that connected us to a planner that now we work with a lot in New York. And I think it was all of those things. Tell them about how we not lost money, but we didn't make any money on that planner's dinner.
Yeah, I mean, we paid for ourselves to go to Western Massachusetts and, did the event, which was a couple of days. And I mean, sometimes it's not easy spending multiple thousands of dollars, especially when you haven't budgeted for it, exactly. But again, it's just saying yes. We knew it was going to be a big moment. And, you mentioned La Rev, Lindsay and Cherish have been such a huge influence on us that one of the things I remember them talking about early on is when you go to these places, you're not trying to be here's my business card, here's my Instagram, blah, blah, blah. We really kept it just so casual with these people. We just met them. They saw us work. They saw the final video, that's it. But staying involved is now we're seeing these same people 2-3 times, again. And actually one of them we're in the talks with, hopefully going to close a wedding, our first wedding with him, someone that we met 2 years ago, at this event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know that I really didn't understand and know the power of networking and just getting to know people. I remember when I was in year 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere in there, I was like, you know what? I'm only so busy with my other job and my wife's pregnant. So I'm gonna only do 10 weddings this year, something like that. And that really kind of cut the legs out from under me a little bit, because I was like, I'm only doing this, and I'm kind of, going in a rabbit hole and and then when I was like, okay, I want to continue to do this, it was like, no one remembered me, even though I didn't really left, but it's because I didn't have those connections and that sort of stuff. So, whenever it comes to the networking, obviously you guys have taken advantage of the opportunities that have been presented with you. There's something in just saying I don't know what this is going to lead to. I don't know if I'm worthy of this. I'm going to apply to it. Let's just see what happens. You never know. Just saying yes to those opportunities. But if people are listening and they're in a similar situation that you guys were in, maybe a couple years ago, you're like, okay, I want to get into this market. I want to get into that market. I want to start working with these people. Whenever it comes to networking, what are some more practical, I know you shared that thing about just showing up and being there and that sort of stuff, but do you have any other things that has been really beneficial for you guys when it's coming to connecting with planners or photographers or other people?
I would say styled shoots. I mean, going to a Tuesday together, wedding community meetup in Miami was the catalyst for our first luxury wedding, the 2 grooms. We went to this meeting, became connected with a florist and a planner, did a styled shoot with them. We became friends with the florist, Bride Candy, the 2 grooms of the wedding, and ended up filming their wedding, obviously. And that's, where that First Avenue, started. So again, sometimes it's hard I'm shy, I don't want to go to these in-person meetings, that's hard, but you just have to do it if you want to advance, So I think to your question about doing something practical, that wasn't a big step, you know what I mean? That wasn't like, oh, here's 10 grand to go to Engage, right away. But that's like a first step, to build a relationship.
I think also networking or just being really friendly with photographers. Every time we try to do a wedding, we're like, how can we work the best with them? How can we be friendly? We just were at this wedding at the Plaza in New York, and the photographer, like, he told me, I already referred you guys. And we're like, oh, wow. And that's like, we hit it off. We launched the drone, and he was like, can I have a picture? We're like, yes, like, anything that we can do. And, photographers, just being friendly, going to styled shoots, meeting people who are not videographers, I would say, and just being kind. I think it goes a long way. We're not pushy at all. Like, we're just, try to be as nice as we can.
John, I know that you wrote in our little chat that you have something and you can go, but I follow. I think you hit on that, Michele. Whenever you said you're starting out and you want to do this, you can't afford the 10K to go to Engage. Like, maybe that's the end goal, but for where you are right now, like, maybe that's not the thing. But I like how it's like, okay, we're gonna do baby steps. We're gonna do little things. You're like, you know what? I didn't want to go to this in-person thing. Like, that's not me. I'd rather not. But I did it. And because of that, it opened this door and opened this door. And I think so many of us in our society, we want it now. Fast food, Amazon Prime, get the stuff right now. We want to just book that $10,000 wedding right now. But, you guys like, no, like we've built these relationships, and, you were like, you did this knot thing in New York or whatever it was, and you met this planner, and now you're in like the final talks to potentially do that a couple years later. So it wasn't like an overnight thing. And I think that that's something all of us need to keep in mind, is it's definitely possible to get to where you're going, but it might not be a big jump. It might be 5 feet here, 2 feet back, 10 feet forward, just that back and forth, the daily grind. And eventually you're going to do something that's really going to move that ball. And then whenever you get that, you take advantage of it. You treat the photographers you're working with. Also, Osiris, I noticed that you say photographer. I don't know if you noticed that you say it, but I say it that way.
I've been telling her for years.
I say it that way. And John has made fun of me. And so I don't know if I've ever met another person that says photographer instead of photographer.
That's a good point.
We're the same. I appreciate that. But
Sorry, English is my second language.
Yes.
That makes more sense.
At least see, you have an excuse. I do not.
Nick, that was insensitive. That was very insensitive.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I know that I said it like that, so now I know. I wanted to say, I have always resonated with when you all say the crock pot.
Yeah.
And that's us. We always knew it. We knew we weren't going to be the people that, went from charging like 800 to like, 7,000 or whatever. But we've just been slowly going and, just keeping our eye on the target, and through like mastermind and other education, we're always focusing on how can we do better all the time. We always have a goal. Right now, our goal is let's do first dances and toast better. Before, we're always like trying to nail like the ceremony, the toast. We're like, if we can just be consistent,
going back and forth. Yeah.
And there's always something like that we're like trying to do, better, and consistency, I think, has helped us a lot.
Yeah, I see a lot of the most successful people in our business, not just making the best films, but the ones that are progressing, that are getting the crazy bookings, that are making more, that are pushing themselves in all the areas. There's like some key elements of things that they do. And like what you said, the crock pot method we talk about all the time on the podcast, of like just taking it slow and steady, not trying to microwave it. And that's something we noticed about you all last year in Mastermind. You weren't just like pushing yourself in front of everybody trying to like talk, but it was a quiet, impressive demeanor that you had, and also you took advantage of opportunities. You say yes to things. But the people that we know that are being very successful, they're the ones that are willing to book that flight to go to Connecticut or Massachusetts or they're spending that extra time. They're willing to say yes to film that gala, and just, they're not looking for me first. They're thinking long term. They're thinking, this is a 3 to 5 year play here by me doing this. This mastermind group that I joined, yeah, it's going to be some initial benefit, but I'm sure as the year, like you're almost a year out of it, you're able to go back and watch certain things, or just think on things that we did, or the connections that you've made with people in that group, or, things like that. I see that in successful people. They're willing to invest in their education. They're willing to get out of their comfort zone and go talk to people when they don't really feel like talking to people. And they really know who they are. Like, they really know who they want to serve. They really know why they want to serve them. And that doesn't just happen when you start your business. That's a learned thing that takes some time. I want to go back to talking about some of these things you said yes to, because I think that saying yes is really important, and saying it strategically, not just saying yes to everything. But you started saying yes to things that might have on the surface looked a little kind of like dumb or silly to say yes to, where it's like, well, we don't have the money to go film this thing. Or whatever, you say yes, it's like, oh, it's an investment to join an educational group or a course or whatever. But you started saying yes. What would you say to people out there that are like, I'm thinking about people that are listening right now that's like, oh, they're charging $3,000, but they want to charge $10,000. They want to charge, they want to get to where you're at. The power of saying yes to things, maybe some advice on what you were looking for in an opportunity to say yes to it. Obviously, you can't say yes to everything, and I don't want people to leave the podcast and be like, okay, I'll go do everything. But if you're really thinking about it, and maybe take a sec, what makes you say, yeah, I'll do that thing? That gives me the excitement that I know that I'm making a crock-pot investment into my business.
I think that when I can see that, like, meeting some, like, people at one event, we're going to keep seeing them. Like, it's the same core group, with the planners dinner we went to, a number of those, it was like 15 people, a number of them are on the bride's list. We know they're tight with the host. And so if we can, I just feel like we're going to keep seeing them, and that's what happened. We went to the Not Gala, we went to like the Love Story TV premiere, and that's where they are. So I guess if I have like a sense of like, I'm going to like, there's like a path for me to keep seeing them, if we got like, say, an opportunity to do like a styled shoot on like somewhere else in Florida where we have no other connections, we're not looking to do a market there. I would be like, I don't know if I really see a path, up there. But, these planners that we got exposure to, they're in New York, and that's where we wanted to open up our second market.
So very strategic. I mean, we did have like a planner that asked us to do like a free wedding in Italy. I don't remember where it was. And we said no. We like looked at the cost, and I'm like, I don't know who this planner is, but their work seems amazing, but I cannot put all this money to do this wedding in Italy.
We can't spend like 10 grand to do a free wedding. Yeah, that was like not a say yes moment.
But if the opportunity, is it something that I can do? Is it something that I'm excited about? Is it helping somebody else? For example, we don't normally take our drone to New York. You can't really launch it there. And so we didn't take it this last weekend when we went. And then the planner says, hey, are you guys cool launching the drone in the, at the venue? And then we were like, oh, wow. He's like, I think it would be awesome. So then literally we went to Best Buy and we were like, okay,
we're already in New York.
We're already in New York and we're like, we'll go buy a drone. We have a crappy drone anyway. So here's our chance to upgrade our drone. And then we launched it. And that has like, in the eyes of the planner, it really like was a smart decision. And, now he has that content. We have that content.
The photographer has the
content. So it really benefited like multiple people. Mm-hmm. But, I would say if it's going to benefit people, if it's strategic, if it's like, maybe it's a fun thing that you want to do. Maybe it's something that excites you.
That's all. Those are all really good things. I think that when it comes to saying yes to things, people like, go do style shoot, go do this. And I think it depends on where you are in your business. If you're kind of just starting out, so, hey, would you be a part of this styled shoot or, something? And maybe it's not in a place you want to do, but you're like, hey, I need content. I need to film some stuff. That's a different situation. But if you're using it as kind of a growth path for your business, Michele, I love what you said there about, is there a path to kind of get me to where I'm going? Am I going to be connected with these people in the future? Maybe if that styled shoot maybe would have been in the Miami area, you might have considered it. But the fact that it was somewhere else in a market that you didn't want to do, you're like, thanks, but no thanks. I think that's really good advice. And also, I think there is something too when it comes to the networking of people is, I think when people are first starting out, they reach out to the very, very established planner or very, very established photographer or very, very established whatever in their market. And then they get frustrated because the planner or like, no, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to be a part of that. Like, well, why does it? Well, whenever you're starting out this way, like go with people that are kind of in your same, bubble of experience, right? But then after you get a few years under your belt and you start going to these networking events, then, obviously, I like to take the approach of, being a servant and helping people and encouraging and giving back as much as I can. But I'm also know if I give Zig Ziglar quote, if I give them what they want, then I'll eventually get what I want too, right? And so then after you've been doing it for a while, then it's maybe those appropriate stones are to not go for the planners that are kind of in your level or the people that are, but like who's maybe a step above me? Yeah. Who can I network with and who can I connect with and continue to grow? Man, just some really, I think that's such good advice and having like a vision of that. So good. I think a lot of people should take heart of that to that.
We've always been like guided, I would say, by like a vision, and we have like, we know where we want to go. We know who we want to serve. It took us a minute. We know we're not fine art. Like it took us a minute to be like, wait, we want to serve this like, events that are maybe like multi-day or like that you can tell there's a lot into the guest experience. And a lot of times that translates into like a more maybe like fine art videography, but like that's not who we are. Like, we like electronic music. I like rock. I mean, we're not. Let me caveat. We have used chapters, but it makes sense. But in general, we really want to try to have like a little bit of an edge if we can. You know what I mean? In like our films and our editing, a dash of edge.
Yeah. That's all really good stuff, and I like that. Having the vision of where you want to go, but also being true to who you guys are and yourself and continue to edit and do your things that way. So that's really good. We are going to continue to talk with Osiris and Michele, but we're going to do that right after this break.
Nick and I have to tell you about one of our favorite places to upload our wedding films, and that is Love Stories TV. Love Stories TV is one of the best free resources for us wedding filmmakers. The best part is they are bringing the couples to us. All we have to do is upload our films and we are good to go. Upload unlimited wedding films to your completely free business page. Setup is easy and your films can be live in just minutes. Now is the perfect time to start uploading to Love Stories TV. So head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to check out all of the details and see how Love Stories TV is giving away $10,000 in cash to wedding filmmakers just like you. That's howtofilmweddings.com/lovestoriestv to start uploading and connecting with the right couples today.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditor. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented wedditors, part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wededitor.com/editor and fill out our form.
All right, we are back from break. And Osiris, before we left, you kind of mentioned some stuff about, how you're editing and the music that you listen to and kind of the edginess, in the final, kind of how you've managed to like mix those things together and stay true to yourselves. And so we just wanted to touch on that and let you guys talk to your experience. I know that so many people have a difficult time, figuring out who you are as a filmmaker and a business owner and the kind of stuff that you want to create. And so what's kind of been your journey of kind of like self-discovery of the types of work that you want to do? And then what do you do whenever, a wedding maybe doesn't fit the style or the vision that you would have for their film or something? What do you do with that? So I'll let you kind of go off and share a little bit about that stuff.
Sure. I would say that it took us a while to get to where we are now, where we know what we want and how to edit. We started off using like a LUT that was more like fine art, like a loom. And then we were like, editing that way. And then Michele kept being like, it's too bright. And you know what I mean?
We were having so many disagreements. And then she's like, look at all these people making tons of money. This is like what they look like. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And then she said that, and I'm like, you're right. Like, this is not even who we are. And so we really took a look, and then we changed our LUT. Sometimes in New York, our films could be a lot darker because there's like a lack of like natural light. And so we started reflecting on the kind of couple we wanted to serve. A lot of our couples now say, I want it to be elegant and fun. They're like, our couples are not overly sentimental. They really like guest experiences. And so we tell them, we get their input on music, but we really try to stay true to ourselves and picking music that we want to listen to while we're editing. And what does that sometimes mean in terms of like re-editing?
I guess re-editing a highlight to maybe take out some elements or just change it up if it's something that you really don't want to like continue pursuing. Or it was like, for example, we actually have a pretty awesome wedding that's not on our website yet, because it had some like parent and like bride and groom interviews on there at their request. And that's just not something that like we generally are going to kind of like build into like what we want to put out there. So we're going to re-edit that and then put it on our portfolio. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like another suggestion is like, if you have a wedding that you feel like, okay, it's not, maybe it's like adjacent to what you want to do. And after you turn it into the couple and it like checks all their boxes, you can change things around. If you want to have a different editing style or different color or whatever, then you can like make it work for you.
And for the teasers on Instagram, I just do whatever I want and whatever she's okay with. I'm just like, we want to use this music. We'll make it work. If I need to make another teaser for the couple, but like, it's like, I want to have fun with it. And if I can have fun with it by it being certain music, sometimes being faster, but all while trying to stay true to the couple. That's like, the really like, it's a fine line. Like, what do I want? What the couple wants, and really like massaging that until it feels like something really true to you. Mm-hmm.
And I think like to your point about, okay, what if we get a couple that's, maybe not as edgy or anything that we want, but like, really, I think they trust us creatively, and we've like had the opportunity to surprise people. And, I feel like I can tell that we gave them something more creative than what they were expecting, and they were like a little bit delighted by that. So I think we don't want to discount what people are expecting. We want to leave room for, okay, they're open to something nonlinear or different kind of like editing and, music, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we had a couple that was really more like conservative in terms of just like how they wanted their wedding to be, and maybe not like thinking that they wanted something like creative. They kept talking about like, my children need to see this. This is really important for my children to see. And that's very rare. Our couples don't really normally say those things to us. They're just like, I want it to be fun. And so this was like a whole different vibe. And we were able to infuse that like heirloom quality and really like went completely non-linear and just like a pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like 9 minutes, 3 songs, like
completely non-linear.
Yeah, totally non-linear.
And they loved it. And so, but I don't think they were like expecting that. So just making it fun within that context.
Yeah. And one thing that we talk about a lot, on the podcast in our mastermind group is just like really leaning into the kind of work that you would want to make. And I've seen it so much in the last 15 years of doing this, of people coming into the industry, taking a bunch of weddings, doing whatever the trends are, and then kind of either getting burned out or quitting or failing or deciding this isn't for them. On a more like deep level, what has it meant to you to like, personally lean into the things that matter the most to you? Because I feel like you're saying like, bright and airy wasn't your vibe, and you were like, well, this is what other people are doing. And then it's like, well, it's not what I want to make or want to, like, it's this internal struggle. What does it feel like to be able to produce things that really speak to you, at the same time having new people find you and say, I want to hire you because of what speaks to you? How does that resonate with you, as opposed to the struggle of trying to just fit into what everybody else is doing?
I mean, it's been pretty gratifying to have that, like, those times where people like comment on, or, when our inquiries say, I really like this, and this about your portfolio. I like that not every film is the same. I like that there's not an abundance of sound bites. It's not overly sentimental is really kind of what they say.
Yeah.
And those are like, they're like actually just giving us a mirror of things that we've been doing on purpose, So that has like been gratifying. And it was kind of scary, trying to be different. And I think we're still trying to find our way with doing that, but it's more gratifying to actually do what you're interested in and not be stressed doing something you're not as compelled to do, and just watching other people.
Yeah. And inclusiveness is something that within this context is very important to us. So taking on weddings of all different like cultures, whether, sexual orientations, religion, races, and seeing that in our portfolio. We want someone to go on our website and say, oh, wow, like I can see myself. I'm not a size 2. I look like the average woman. I'm not a model, like, and just all sorts of things. And that's really at the heart of this all. You know what I mean? It's like part of that as well.
Going back, that great point, and I love that that's something that you guys have really embraced in your business. Going back to your story of the LUTs that you were using, like bright and airy, and like this is how we make stuff, and that comment sounds very much like me and my wife, where I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do, Osiris, like I'm you in this situation, right? And my wife would be like, Michele would be like, but why? Like just ask it, why do we need to do this? Why is this? And kind of pushing that, like if there's a deeper reason behind it other than, hey, everyone's doing it, okay, then, but if it's okay, here's a technical reason, this is why we need to shoot this way, or this, this thing, whatever, but asking those questions of why am I doing this way? And I love how you've found your spot and you're like, okay, why have we been putting out films that don't have much dialogue? Why have we been putting out films that are more fun and aren't as sentimental? Why have we been doing that? It's because our people that like that stuff and that resonates with them are out there. We just haven't found them yet. And the only way that we are going to find them is to put the stuff out there. I think that so many of us think, hey, if I just film a bunch of weddings and people get and see my work, then I'm going to, by happenstance, find the people that I want to work with. And then we get frustrated. Another fill in the blank kind of wedding. Why do I keep getting fill in the blank kind of wedding? Well, It's because those are the only kind of weddings that you're putting out for the world to see. And so I think that's cool that you've asked those questions of why are we doing this? And then Osiris, you're like, well, thanks for bringing that up, because that's not what I want to do. I was just kind of following the money, and following the money isn't a bad thing, but it's not as fulfilling. It's a lot more fulfilling to find the money whenever you're doing the thing that you love to do and who you want to create. Like that's where the direction that we should all be going. So I don't really have a question with that. I was just saying, I like all the stuff you're saying is really resonating.
I have something to add real quick, and I know that right before, Nick, you were talking, Michele and Osiris, you're talking about like you want to be very inclusive, and I think that's really important, especially in this day and age. There's so many people out there that want to throw stones and be hateful and be not only about like sexual orientation but there's just a lot of turmoil going on, in the world, and the internet makes it so easy to just be like, well, I'm not like that person, so I don't like them, and I'm going to talk about. And meeting the two of you in person, you gave us big hugs. You were so kind to us. You were so accepting of us. I've never felt anything but love from the two of you. And I just want to say thank you for being those kinds of people. And, you want to show people that aren't just a size 2, and you want to show different, on your portfolio, you had a wedding where I think it was like a Southeast Asian wedding, marrying a Caucasian guy. And it was like this beautiful, melding of these two families and cultures. And it's like, that's beautiful and love. And like, it resonates with me, and it just goes, straight to my heart when it's like, this is what these people stand for. And if that's not what you want, that's fine. But like, you're also repelling and attracting so many of the kinds of people that you want to be working with, because you're willing to say, this is who we are, and this is what we want to film, and this is, if you don't like it, that's fine. And there's no hate behind it. It's all kindness and love. And anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for treating us how you've treated us. And it's very apparent that you're like some of the sweetest people we've ever met. So.
Oh my gosh. No, right back at you.
We really appreciated like being part of Mastermind. It's like, you have no idea. It was so cool. We learned a lot.
I mean, having access to YouTube and more on a weekly basis was like incredible, really, just to like talk about anything, and the speakers and the educators that you brought
Fiore, K&J, Larev. I know there's more.
Yeah.
But
Kaylin,
like the hands-on, we learned, like everyone out there, we learned hands-on from Kaylin or Callan. I don't know how to say it.
It's Kaylin. Yeah.
He's trying to maximize opportunities. Literally, I'm asking him questions and he's giving me direction, and Osiris is filming it on our phone so we can rewatch it later.
That's smart.
Always trying to maximize what we can.
Yeah. It's invaluable. And in terms of what you were talking about before, Michele once said, we only need 20 people to like us. That's all. You know what I mean?
It's very true. Yeah, no, and that's, it's really cool to see our industry grow and progress, and like people to like, for me, for the longest time, I was always so afraid to even put my face on my website. Because, my self-talk was, well, girls won't want to hire a guy to film their wedding. Like, ooh, they're not going to, it'll be Redeemed Productions. And like, if people contact us, I'll let them know I'm the guy behind the camera. And, a shift happened in like 2012 or 13 where it was like, you should put your face on things. And I was like, but anyway, like just being able to like really now lean into, like, I love a sentimental wedding film. That's what I want to make. That's what resonates with me. I don't want something that's just a party. I love a good party film, but for me, like, I love watching This Is Us, and like my wife won't watch it with me anymore because it's too heavy, and I just like eat my bonbons and cry by myself, and it's like, that's just who I am, and I want to do that. I want to create a film that's that. Bonbon, you know what a bonbon is, right? That's what
go ahead. And the people who want all that sentimental. They know where to go. You know what I mean? We're trying to convince our clients now to let us put talking in the video. We're like, okay, no, now we've gone too far and we're having to tell them, no, this is really important. There needs to be talking.
It is a wedding. I mean, there is romance.
Yeah.
There is sentiment. You know, we're not trying to like completely extract that. You know, like means.
All right, so you ladies opened the door a little bit about Mastermind. You chatted a little bit about that. Thank you so much for that, and it's been something that John and I have been really proud of. You know, it's something that we have poured a lot of our energy into. But people that are listening that might be interested in checking it out for the following year. You know what? Can you just share your overall experience with it? Was it positive? Was it negative? You know, we just want some honest feedback about what you guys thought about being a part of the first class of Mastermind.
It was perfect, honestly. It was nothing but a positive experience and well worth the time and the investment and the commitment. And I think what we learned continues to serve us, and we're more than a year out, basically, from the program.
The consultation. Yeah. I was thinking back. One of the things that we were recalling is when you guys talked about like how you run your consultation calls, and John, I think you kind of actually showed like an example of it. We just totally copied that. And then literally a couple weeks later, we booked our highest wedding in Miami. At that time, we're like, oh my gosh, look at what happened. All we did was, we spent like a few more minutes at the beginning of the call asking them about their family and their dream job and stuff. And then, we have a wonderful connection. So it's really what we found is like there was immediate benefits, and then there's like long-term benefits. And then the retreat is honestly one of the best experiences I've had in my life. Like, you guys blew me away, and it was so fun.
So, like, the whole thing's incredible.
Yeah, we had a blast. We'd highly recommend it. It's definitely worth it. Not just learning from you two, but also all the guest speakers as well that you bring in. And also that community. We're still in touch with people from, that class and Instagram. We go there. Like, if we have questions, we've put up like a teaser or a film. Is there anything we can, change for opinions? And it's always like very nice and cordial.
Yeah, my question to you is just, when are you going to do like an alumni group sort of thing, and let's get back involved?
That's something we're talking about. We keep getting asked about it.
I think I was asking you about that at the retreat.
I remember.
Have things to do.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool because like this year there's about 80, and there were like 45 of you in the first year. So we've got like 120 filmmaking companies that have like been equipped and trained through this. And it's like, when we launched it, it was like, will anybody even sign up? I remember Nick and I being like, if 12 people sign up, we will break even. Like, we'll be able to pay all the guest speakers, and we could have like a small retreat. And then we had 45, and it was like, is this real life? And then it was like, for sure, there's nobody else left that would want to join after 45 people joined. And then it was like 82 more people. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Aww. But yeah, there's these 120 of you all now that have, we're just finishing up year 2 and about to open year 3. And it's like, it really is becoming like almost a university or like an alumni group, where it's like, well, you went through the class of 22 and you went through the class of 23. And the alumni are getting 80 more people joining in our Facebook group in the next few weeks, because the alumni group is going to keep growing and more connections and things like that. And it's so fun to watch. And I have this dream in the back of my head that somehow one day there will be a couple that finds each other through How to Film Weddings or the Mastermind.
Oh
and this is the dream. So if you want a free wedding, here's what you do. You fall in love with somebody Anyway, I just love that there's so many connections and being part of that. And that's, my dream is to be a connector. It's what I love doing. I love meeting people and finding new, and like circling back to the beginning of this conversation where you guys were just connecting with planners. You were taking those steps. Did the first, push of the flywheel get you to the $10,000 wedding, or was it the 50th? And that's the thing to consider when thinking about your wedding video business. Nick, anything else you want to add before landing this plane? Or Osiris and Michele, of course.
I always want to say, like, we did during the pandemic one wedding, and I want to say it was like, I don't remember how much it was, but it wasn't for very much. And that wedding, we were like, went above and beyond, tried to knock it out of the park. And from that wedding, we've gotten so many other amazing weddings. And that was like, it was like one of those, we need that wedding because we need money sort of wedding. And we just were like, did all these things to make it extra. I'm sorry, my dog's going crazy.
I'm going to take his collar off because it's like.
But you just never know. So just always do your best because you don't know who's there. You don't know what can come from any opportunity.
I'm starting to say this is 2 degrees away from a luxury wedding. And that's what that wedding was.
Love it.
That's so huge. Just being like forward thinking and trying. I know sometimes it gets really difficult. I've been in the rat race. I've been doing this like just kind of mailing it in, but like no, like this is something that is for this couple. That's going to be something great for them, but also you never know who's going to see it. And if no one wouldn't have seen it, like you guys still would have knocked it out of the park. You would have gone above and beyond, and you would have been proud with what you had done. But the fact that it kind of opened some doors, because you went above and beyond was it was a nice little bonus.
Because the mother of the bride called us like 10 times. And I picked up the phone every time.
She had a heart attack.
And she's the one referring us.
Did you record the Beatles song playing during the processional? Yeah. We did. The musicians, we got this, that. I had us scared, but it was worth it.
Again, Osiris, Michele, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us this afternoon. If people want to follow you on socials or stuff, where can they do that?
People can find us on Instagram at Modern Love Productions, and our website is modernlovemiami.com. If you follow us, say hello. We'd love to chat with anyone and everyone who wants to.
And seriously, awesome. Nick, just so you know, like people should go check out their work. Like go to Modern Love Productions on Instagram or Modern Love Miami. See what they're doing. Be jealous a little bit, but reach out to them. They're the best. Thank you both for being on for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
This was a dream.
Again, Osiris and Michele, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you taking the time, sharing so many good nuggets of information that I think are going to help a lot of people. If you are interested in more information about Mastermind, How to Film Weddings Mastermind, we are just opening up here in just a few short weeks. Head over to mmxhtfw.com. That's mmxhtfw.com. There you can get more information, sign up for the waitlist, and as soon as we announce anything concerning Mastermind, you can be known. You will be known. You'll be notified. We'll email you. That's what we'll do. John, thanks for hanging out with me. Listeners, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films? Look no further. Our friends over at VidFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. VidFlow is pay-per-use with no large upfront costs or commitment, and you can cancel at any time. VidFlow offers a premium viewing experience for all of your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years of hosting and an experience for your couples that will blow them away. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/vidflow, where you can save 20% off a yearly business membership by using promo code HTFW20. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way. Give your couples something to rave about by using VidFlow.